Zordo Ramirez is the current cruiserweight champion of the world. He's the first in the history of Mexican boxing to accomplish that goal.
We've been digging into the same combinations for a long, long time to see what are good ways to enter, exit, and land combinations at the same time. At the end of the day, you're dodging punches all day. You're trying to land the best punches. You're trying to make the highest possible decisions in your head. And a fight.
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a closer look at the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's world title fight at cruiserweight between the world champion Zordo Ramirez and the challenger David Benavidez. Before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you like this video? Also pinned in the comment section below is a link to become a Johnny Says Boxing VIP Insider. With this membership, you get access to our world famous JSB Insider professional betting Discord. Click the link below to find out more. All right, guys, this weekend is massive in boxing. The fights actually start tonight in Australia. If you're catching this video today, it is Wednesday, April 29th in Sydney, Australia. The fights are headlined by Sky Nicholson. Jake Wiley is on that card. There's also a sneaky little firefight between Andrew Hunt and Ben Hussein. But in this video, what we're going to be doing is talking about the exciting world title fight at cruiserweight between Zurdo, lefty, Gilberto Ramirez, and the challenger, David Benavidez. This fight is going to be an example of Benavidez moving up yet again to another new weight class, taking on the tough, durable, gritty, and a guy who just knows how to win in Zordo Ramirez. So in this video, what we're gonna do is break down both fighters' careers. We're gonna talk a little bit about how they go about their business. And like always, stay tuned to the end of the video. That's where I'll be going over the current Las Vegas odds. And I'll be giving you my prediction and telling you where to put your money. David Benavidez is one of these fighters with a massive following. We've kind of watched him grow up on screen. When you think about David Benavidez, everybody has seen that video when he was overweight teenager in the gym with his father and his older brother, and he just looked like a young teen who was trying to lose weight. But the one thing about that video, he's wearing the red hoodie, you guys have seen it before, is the hand speed was always there. Remove the baby fat, and what we have now is a 29-year-old who is undefeated, multiple division world champion, and once again, he is daring to be great. We last saw him at light heavyweight, a fight in which he stopped Anthony Yarde. Most people remember his performances at super middleweight, and then his fights with David Morrell, Vosdick. Each fight for David Benavidez is a test. This is a guy who people have a lot of high hopes for him. Some people already have him in their top 10 pound for pound list. When you see him fight, you're gonna see world-class hand speed, you're gonna see combinations, you're gonna see relentless power. But in my opinion, David Benavidez's best attribute are the things you can't measure. His heart, his willingness to put himself in danger, and his belief in himself to know that when that bell rings, he is going to have his hand raised. In his opponent, Zurdo, this is a big, durable, left-handed fighter. This is a guy who's cut his teeth now at cruiserweight. We know he started at 168, but that seems many moons ago. The 34-year-old will be turning 35 in June. The guy has one loss on his record, but Zurdo's never been knocked down, never been dropped. We've seen him quote-unquote wobbled before, but by no means have we ever seen him in serious danger. The fight with David Benavidez will give Zurdo an opportunity to remind his naysayers about how crafty he is as a boxer, how high his ring IQ is. He's not gonna have the quickest hands, but he has decent footwork, and he's been in there with all sorts of fighters. And a guy who's coming up in recent years from 168 and making his first fight at cruiser, you'd have to think that Zordo Ramirez is pretty confident in his skill set and his experience in the weight class to get the job done. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at the challenger, David Benavidez, and see what he's been up to in his career. David Benavidez is 31-0 with 25 knockouts out of 1,932 fighters in the world at light heavyweight. Remember, this fight's a cruiser. He's ranked number 1. He's fought a career total of 167 pro rounds and carries in the ring at 81% career knockout to win ratio. He is the WBC World Light Heavyweight Champion. His adoring fans know him as the Monster. And the 29-year-old American is a 6'2" orthodox fighter with a 74-inch reach. He was born in Phoenix, Arizona, USA, but calls Miami, Florida, USA home. We last saw him fight Anthony Yarde, 27-3, stopped him in the 7th. David Morrell, 11-0, won a UD in the 12th. Vosdick, 20-0, won a UD in the 12th. Bubu Andrade, 30-0, stopped him in the 6th. Caleb Plant, 22-1, won a UD in the 12th. It was only a few years ago that David Benavidez was a guy, every time you'd see him, he was calling out Canelo Alvarez. He was calling out Canelo. He wanted that big fight at 168. And some would even say he waited around, boiled himself down a little bit too long to get that Canelo fight. We know that fight never took place, and Benavidez has been on record stating that he made a decision at a point a few years ago to create his own legacy, to move on from that opportunity to fight Canelo, and that's exactly what he's done. Since his days at 68, we've watched him move up to light heavyweight. He went 3-0 there. His best performance was his last performance, and the confidence that he took in stopping a big, durable, tough Anthony Yarde, he was like, you know what, it's time to move on once again. He's making his claim at cruiserweight. Ultimately, you'd have to think that he's looking for a massive fight if he could get past Zurdo with Jai Apataya. Politics aside, I know everybody in my atmosphere wants to see the Jai Apataya fight. If you're unaware of what I'm talking about, look into the contract negotiations and the disputes with Zuffa Boxing and all of the belt promotions with what's going on with Apataya. But what we're talking about here is a Benavidez who's going to come out prepared. You got to expect that pressure. You got to expect that volume. You got to expect him to jump out early. The hesitations I am concerned with him in this fight is the fact that it is a new division. He is moving up. A lot of the boys in the Discord are thinking he's just going to go in and steamroll Zurdo. This is a big dude. This is a guy who's comfortable at 200 pounds, and this is a guy in Zurdo who's never been stopped. I think it's going to get interesting the later this fight goes. I think Zordo Ramirez is going to force David Benavidez to answer some questions about his fight IQ, about his game planning, 5th, 6th, 7th rounds. How's he moving around with that bigger body in front of him? And will the power continue to carry up a weight class? We know his first few fights at light heavyweight, the power really wasn't there. And then the last fight, we saw that it finally manifested itself. So only time will tell. Right now, let's take a look at Mexico's first ever cruiserweight world champion, Zordo Ramirez, and see what he's been up to in his career. Zordo Ramirez is 48-1. Of his 48 wins, 30 of them come by way of knockout. He's the number 2 ranked cruiserweight in the world. He's fought a career total of 313 pro rounds and carries in the ring a 63% career knockout to win ratio. He is the WBO World Cruiser World Champion. He was born Gilbert Ramirez Sanchez, but his adoring fans know him as Zurdo, and the 34-year-old Mexican fighter is a 6'3" southpaw with a 75-inch reach. He was born and raised and lives in Mazatlan, Sinaloa, Mexico. We last saw him fight Uniel Dorticos, 27-2, won a UD in the 12th. Chris Billum Smith, 20-1, won a UD in the 12th. Gulamaran, 27-0, won a UD in the 12th. Joe Smith Jr., 28-4, won a UD in the 10th. Back in 2022, he suffered his only defeat to Dimitri Bivol, who was 20-0. He lost a decision in the 12th. He's gone undefeated since. Anybody against Dimitri Bivol, you're going to have your hands full. Zurdo was rocked in that fight. He didn't get dropped. It's probably the most hurt you'll see Zordo Ramirez. He doesn't have the biggest power. He doesn't have the best hand speed. He doesn't have the best feet. But overall, he takes what he has. He takes his size. He takes his experience. And he does a lot of things really well. He's a tough night at the office. He's going to be there in David Benavidez's face. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to try to back who up. You got to think it's going to be Benavidez. I actually give Zurdo the footwork advantage, the classiness of the footwork, the angles, how he can move off of a line, and how technical his feet are. Benavidez doesn't have the best footwork. Where his feet lack, he makes up in hand speed and relentless pressure. The stylistic matchup, orthodox versus southpaw, the light heavy moving up to cruiser, Cinco de Mayo weekend. This fight has a lot of boxing fans, both true blue and casuals, excited. Before I get into the current Las Vegas odds and give you my prediction, I want to remind everybody, guys, I do live streams every single day. In those live streams, I take your questions. We go over prop bets, my long parlays, our underdogs of the week. In these Stats Don't Lie videos, I'm only going to give you my money line prediction. All right, guys, wherever you are in the world, let's pull out our betting apps. And currently, David Benavidez on the money line is a $1.28 favorite, meaning you put 100 on Benavidez, you get your money back plus 28 bucks. Gilbert Ramirez is a $4.10 dog, meaning you put $100 on Gilbert Ramirez, you get your money back plus $310. Guys, I recently did a poll on my Instagram. If you're not following my Instagram, just go to Johnny Stofko. You can take part in these interactive polls. Over 2,000 people voted when I asked who was going to win Benavidez versus Gilbert, and 95% of the people picked David Benavidez. He is a 3-1 favorite. I think those odds are a little bit wide. I definitely think the 95% of people think that he's going to win is super disrespectful. Do I feel that people are sleeping on Zurdo? 100%. A big natural southpaw, a cruiserweight, who's a champion, who only has one loss, who's never been hurt, never been dropped, never been stopped, is a dangerous proposition, especially against a 29-year-old who's coming up to a bigger new division. I feel Benavidez is going to have more questions to answer than Zurdo, and especially the longer this fight goes, I think it's going to get really, really interesting. Right now on the money line, I will not be dog hunting. I'm sticking to my guns with David Benavidez. I think he's special. I think he's one of those ones. He's definitely grown on me. I wasn't one of these guys 3 years ago who was on the bandwagon talking about he was an all-time great. But as I've watched him maneuver the waters of light heavyweight and watch what he did to Anthony Yarde and how he's kind of operating since he got past kind of trolling Canelo of all those years wanting to fight Canelo, I'm kind of becoming a believer. His hand speed, his willingness to be in a dogfight, the mindset, the mentality, all of those things, he ticks those boxes for me. So right now I got Benny on the money line. In the comment section below, this is not an echo chamber. Let me know if you disagree. Maybe you like Zurdo. Let it be known so we can have proof, receipts, and evidence. Also stay tuned, guys. Join the Discord. Become a JSP Insider. I just gave you a prop parlay ticket with a method of victory with Benavidez on it that pays plus 450. So be sure to join our JSP Insider Discord and stay tuned to the next video. Guys, if you haven't watched my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of another massive world title fight, this time in Tokyo, Japan, with Naoya Inoue and Junto Nakatani, stay tuned to the channel because that's coming up right now.